latest door block information, call 575-678-1178. Today's forecast is calling for mostly sunny, mostly cloudy tonight. Alamogordo, high of 60, low of 39 for Cloudcroft. High of 51 and an overnight low of 30. For tomorrow, we're looking at sunny skies. Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 64, low of 42. For Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 54 and an overnight low of 31.
This is the KNMZ Football Roundtable, Season 32. 5 local business people in a competition picking winners from the best high school, college, and NFL games every week. Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland and Harris Agency, Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group, Timothy Brock of Christ Community Church, Jake Roberts with Coldwell Banker Sudworth Nelson, and Lara Conway of First National Bank. Now, let's get to the picks. ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Hello and welcome into the KNMZ Football Roundtable. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday. Should let you know off the bat that we are recording today's show. I am in Santa Fe, and you may have just been listening to me doing Tiger basketball a second ago, so you might be a little confused. So maybe not. You may be hearing me later today doing Tiger basketball.
Charles has not invented time travel yet.
No, I have not.
Dang it.
Or teleportation or something like that. But we hope everybody's having a good day. And first off, congratulations to all the state champions in high school football that were crowned this past weekend. I don't know if there were too many surprises. I mean, I was a little surprised Portales won by as big a margin as they did. But everywhere else, I mean, the Cleveland Rio Rancho felt like a coin flip game. Same with Roswell and Los Lunas. That was close. And congratulations to Hope Christian winning their first ever state title. You had any thoughts on the state title games, Manny?
Well, no, I was tracking them, throughout the Saturday afternoon, and I was impressed with the outcomes. I'm glad Roswell won. Portales beat Bloomfield, Cleveland beat Rio Rancho, and Hope Christian beat Socorro.
Yeah, very impressive. But congratulations to all that group. But Lara, any thoughts coming out of those games? Just wishing you'd made more picks right?
I wish I would have made more picks right, but I am happy that Hope Christian, won their first state title, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And that was 34-24, right?
Yeah, and they came back. They were down, I think, 10 or 12 at halftime, and managed to come back. Jake, meanwhile, is very happy with his high school picks because he's in first place now, so that's all that matters to him, right, Jake?
That's pretty much all that matters. That's all that matters.
All right. Well, let's introduce the crew. We got Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland and Harris Agency. Manny, how are you?
Good afternoon or good morning, whatever time it is. It's Wednesday, so I'm out of whack.
Yeah,
and so it feels weird sitting here on a Wednesday morning, but I guess this is going to be replayed on Friday, so we'll be in good shape. I just got to pretend. I got to get in a Friday mode of mine, and I'm not there right now.
There you go. Lara Conway with First National Bank. How are you, Lara?
I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic. She's wishing her Patriots were not struggling as much as they are.
Listen.
Hey, Jake likes the Patriots. He's a Brady guy.
Yeah.
What are they, like 10-1 though? And it's like
10-2.
They're like the worst looking 10-2 team ever.
Yeah.
Like
It's
we
like
should not be having this conversation.
No.
And now I don't know if they're gonna win another game. Like I just don't like. It's crazy.
That offense is not very good.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group would be here, but he had jury duty today, so he sent me his picks, and we'll mention them throughout the show. It's a normal day, so Tim Brock will be with us here shortly from Christ Community Church. And he was busy last night, or a Tuesday night, I should say. He was out doing Gadsden and Hobbs basketball, which I guess was a really, really good basketball game last night. And then Jake Roberts from Coldwell Banker Sudworth Nelson, he came in with his phone blaring, saying he was the champ.
Oh, my gosh.
John Jones.
Just wait.
Walking out with his walkout song today. We're feeling like a champ today.
He's still
Champ is here. The champ is here.
It's a little premature because he's still got 4 more weeks to try to finish this off.
And this will be the week that I lose 10 games. But today I'm the champ, and today I am stoked about it. I have until Sunday to screw that up.
There you go. 10-6 for Jake and Manny and Brandon. They led the week. Myself and Tim went 9-7, and Lara, she mentioned 7-9.
Yeah, my worst week ever.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still a ways to go, and there's 2 games from Jake to Lara, 2 games from Lara to me, so it's not too far back to that. And Tim's only 5 games back of myself, and Manny, you and Brandon are going to fight it out for that last spot. You're trying to hold on, right, Manny?
I don't mind being on the far right.
Yeah, there you go. All righty, let's get to college picks. We've only got college and pro games the rest of the way, and we've got conference championship games this week. We didn't put all of them on there. We should mention we didn't put Clemson. They are 30-point favorites over Virginia in a conference championship game, and they would probably be that against any ACC team that they played. Mm-hmm. Do you love the indignation of your coach though? Is that you find that as entertaining as I do?
I mean, it is pretty entertaining. I'm not really paying attention to it.
Okay.
But like, yeah.
He's using words like it's the dadgumdest thing that nobody respects Clemson, and I love it. I love anybody that uses the words dadgum, and that just, I mean, for a guy named Dabo, it just makes complete sense that he's using those words.
Right? I don't know who names their kid Dabo, but that man's a genius.
Yeah. Well,
Sounds like a college coach.
He's doing well, and I mean, if they lose to Virginia, though, I don't think they're making the playoff.
Oh my gosh.
Could Alabama sneak in with 2 losses?
No. I think
from number 12.
I think we pretty much just put that one to bed. They're done.
I think that one's done, unfortunately. What a crazy game the Iron Bowl was last week, though. I recorded that and came back and watched that. Did you watch the Iron Bowl, Manny?
Oh, yeah.
Doink. Yeah. You feel bad. There were,
Are you kidding? Alabama's offense was great. He threw for like 6 touchdowns. Now, 2 of them were to the other team, but he still threw for 6 touchdowns.
But the fact they were still in the game, I mean, and there were some things that deal that happened right before the end of the half didn't seem right to me. And there was the penalty at the end of the game. I thought was kind of. I actually agree with Saban. I felt like Alabama kind of got the short end on those two. But
and I didn't even think about it because I understood why they stopped the clock at first. But then when Saban was talking about it, like
After
that's
3
a run
seconds?
play that should have ran off. Like none of that. Yeah. And so at first I was like, what's he all bent out of shape for? And then the more I was going over it, I was like, oh man, they did get kind of shafted on that.
well, but they stopped the clock. And the problem was they reviewed it, so it allowed Auburn to get their field goal unit out there and have a chance to snap it. So that was the issue.
But I make no excuses. I'm the same way when it comes to fighters. If you put it in the judge's hands, or in this case the referee's hands, like you did not win that game. You gave yourself an equal chance to win and lose, so you don't deserve to win.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's not fun, but it is what it is. And that's coming from the Alabama fan.
Yeah.
Just saying. I'm not happy about it, but they lost.
And Notre Dame, I mean, Stanford gave them a pretty good game early, right, Manny? And then
Everyone gives Notre Dame a good game.
Yeah.
It's Notre Dame. You rise up.
Yeah. But they got the win. And are they in 9 or 10 wins this year? I can't remember how much they got to.
It's a 10-2 season.
10-2, yeah. So that's not bad, but certainly not what you as an Irish fan were hoping for.
Well, I just one game at a time, 1 week at a time. That's how I live. Because this game of football, I don't understand it.
All right, let's go to the Big 12 championship. It's Baylor taking on Oklahoma, a rematch of a game that Oklahoma won 34-31, and a game that was very close the first time around. A game that Baylor probably should have won, in all fairness.
Yeah, you can argue Oklahoma squeaked by on that one.
Well, I mean, credit to Oklahoma. They had a bunch of turnovers and somehow managed to come back and make that a good football game. So both teams are 11-1, and it's a 9-point favorite to Oklahoma. I guess the question is, can Oklahoma avoid the mistakes of the first game, and are they just going to go out there and run away with it? Or maybe Baylor, there's a reason why there were so many turnovers. They ended up forcing that in that one. Well, Brandon's not here, so Manny, we'll let you start it off. Who are you going to go with?
Well, remember, Baylor lost to Oklahoma 34-31 on November 16th. And so I think that's an excellent preview of this game. I had Oklahoma favored by 8. I guess the lines moved to 9, over and under 62. Baylor gives up 36 points per game. Oklahoma scores 36 points per game. Oklahoma scores 44 points a game. Baylor allows 18 points a game, and Oklahoma allows 25. Not much help there with those statistics, but I'm just going to go with Oklahoma. I think they've got the mojo right now.
Larry.
So I actually looked this up. We had the conversation at my office about home field advantage, and Arlington, Texas is only about 2 hours from Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's really, I didn't look up the Oklahoma difference.
From Norman, it's probably 5 or 6 hours from
Yeah.
Norman, would be my guess.
But I'm not sure that it's going to make a big difference. I mean, Oklahoma fans show out. It's not going to change. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
Brandon, of course, going Boomer Sooner. And we now have Tim Brock from Christ Community Church. Tim, what's up, man?
Hey, good to be back.
You were busy last night.
I was busy last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do the JV game prior to the varsity game, too, over in Gadsden, and that was probably the most physically demanding basketball game I've ever had to do. And then, of course, the varsity game was very difficult, and it went into overtime. So I'm walking with a limp today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way the Hobbs runs up and down the floor, and Gadsden isn't that slow-down team that they used to be.
Oh, I was going to ask about that, because that used to be their business model, is slow it down.
No, since Harper left, they do not have that kind of style
No
anymore.
There are no half-court offenses. It's just sling it and run, and I think I lost 4 pounds yesterday.
There are no 16-10 games anymore like I went through about a decade ago.
That was nice, though. You show up. I don't know what you talked about on the radio for all that much time, but
so bad. I still have nightmares about it. Anyway,
we digress. Back to football. You know what? I would love to see Baylor blow this whole thing up and sneak their way into the top 4. But I don't think this is the upset I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
All right, Jake.
I think Oklahoma gets the win. I will be rooting for Baylor, though. The fact that they put it on them earlier this year, if they could, I'd be stoked if they could beat Oklahoma. It'd make me really happy.
I think what Matt Rule has done with Baylor, bringing them back from the Art Briles nastiness, it's nice to see Baylor back there in that spot, or at least nice to see those guys being successful. I'm going to go Oklahoma. I hope it's a good game, but I think the bigger question mark is what happens, and we'll get to the game here in a little while, if both Oklahoma and Utah win, who gets that 4th spot. That's if LSU, of course, wins the SEC title game. All right, the Big Ten Championship is Ohio State taking on Wisconsin. This is a game earlier this year that Ohio State beat the Badgers, and I feel like Ohio State's probably the best team in the country. I just everything that they do. Maybe there's a few question marks on defense, but they have so much talent on defense that they can overcome maybe some of the issues they've been having. And I guess you just have to ask yourself, can Wisconsin not replicate what happened the first time around? Because Ohio State blew them out the first time that they played. So we'll start with you, Lara. Who do you like?
Ohio State.
All right, going Buckeyes. Tim.
I think Ohio State is one of 2 very clear-cut, top-notch teams. I'm an LSU, and I just can't see them losing this game at all. I mean, they're amazing. Josh Fields is fantastic. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Ohio State.
Chase Young, all those guys. Chase Young's the guy that I'm amazed with that group. By the way, Brandon also went with the Buckeyes. Jake.
They're a 16-point favorite. There's no reason to see why they wouldn't be. I'm taking the Buckeyes.
I'll go Ohio State. I mean, I'd love to. Same as with Baylor, what Jake was talking about. It would be fun to see Wisconsin find a way to make this at least an interesting game, or maybe come out with a victory. Because, as I said before, I love chaos. It would be fun to see Ohio State and LSU lose this week. I've got nothing for them one way or the other. So that would be fun. But I think the Buckeyes take it. Manny?
Both of these teams have very good defenses, but I think the Ohio State Buckeye offense is superior. I'm going to have to go Buckeyes on this one.
All right. Everybody with Ohio State. This one I think may be different. I think we'll see somebody jump out there with Oregon. Utah 11-1, Oregon 10-2, 6.5 points going to the Utes. I don't think enough respect has been given to how good Utah's defense is this year. They're only allowing 11 points a game. They're giving up 241 total yards. Kyle Whittingham's group is legit, and I do think if they get into the college football playoff, I think there's somebody that need to be reckoned with. I know most people feel like they would get blown out by whoever they would play. I'm not really sure that's true. Oregon, meanwhile, boy, they would be in a spot to go to the college football playoff right now if they don't drop that game a few weeks ago. And now they can just play spoiler. Justin Herbert's had a really good season, but he's had a very up and down season. He'll have one really good game and then have a bad game right after that. So the question is which guy shows up in this matchup. Brandon is going with Utah. Tim, who do you like?
Well, I think this is the upset to pick. I mean, you mentioned we'd probably go out there. I think Oregon is the more established program. Utah's won a lot of close games in a very mediocre Pac-12. If Oregon didn't lose that crazy game in Tempe 2 weeks ago, I think we'd all be going Oregon. So I'm going to try to remove that from my memory, and I'm going to go with the Ducks.
Okay, very good. Jake.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to defense. This isn't the Oregon team that we're so familiar with in the past. That Chip Kelly team that was just always just dominant, and it just doesn't feel that way from Oregon. I don't get that, so I'm going to take Utah. I think. Kudos to Oregon, but they're just not the same team.
Yeah, I think Utah, they've been a great team this year, but they also had a loss to USC a little bit this year at home. I mean, they could easily be undefeated right now. So they're very capable, and mediocre is the right word for the Pac-12. You've got Utah and Oregon and USC that all finished above 500 in conference. Nobody else of the remaining 12 teams finished above 500 in conference. It's a bunch of 4 and 5 teams. It's crazy. Them and the Big 12. That's why I think it's going to be a real tough decision if the committee has to choose between Utah and Oklahoma. It can't be based on conference because both conferences are basically equally mediocre across the board. So I don't know what they decide to do. They have to figure out who they really believe is the better team. But I think in this game, Utah will get the win. But, man, I could definitely see them finding a way to mess this up. Manny?
Average points for on each of these teams is 36. You already mentioned the Utes only give up 11. Oregon's only given up 16 points per game. So, but I kind of respect the spread at 6 and that record of 11-1. I'm going to go ahead and go Utes because I haven't talked about them all. Have we talked about them this year?
I don't think we've had them on the sheet. Maybe once. Yeah.
They have been off the radar. I'm going Utes.
Yeah. Maybe the USC game we might have had on there. I'm not sure. Lara?
Utah.
Utah? Okay. Tim going to try to get one on us there. He's excited. He's excited about that.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Get you some, Tim.
I thought for sure that would be the game everybody would go out on, but yeah, cool.
SEC title game in Atlanta, Georgia. LSU taking on Georgia, and LSU getting 7 points in this game. LSU looked great last week against Texas A&M. Georgia had no problem against Georgia Tech. I feel like LSU crushing Texas A&M is a little bit more impressive win heading into this game. But this is the moment for LSU. Their opportunity to get it to the national championship, or at least to the semifinals, and pretty impressive what they've done. But Georgia's in the exact same spot, in that if they win this game, both teams might make it if Georgia wins. I think a lot of people think LSU and Ohio State, if they lose this week, they're still going to make the playoff. So it's kind of an interesting debate that they're having. But as for this debate, Jake, who do you like, LSU or Georgia?
So love Georgia. They're a great team. I'm going to take LSU because they are. I do feel that they're the better team. They're undefeated. They've got the chance to make the championship. I think it's theirs to lose. So I'm going to take LSU. But yeah, if Georgia goes in there, we could possibly see a rematch in the
semifinal. Yeah, there's
semifinal?
yeah. I mean, or in the championship, there's definitely a chance.
I mean,
of it.
it's obviously two of the top 4 teams, as it should be. It'll be good football, but I'll take LSU.
I think it's LSU, but I expect a great game. This is the one, I think, of the 4 that we've talked about. I think this is the best chance to be a really, really good football game. Georgia, I mean, they just had a bad day against South Carolina. Otherwise, they've been excellent this season. I think overall, though, LSU maybe has a couple more impressive wins and have looked overall like the stronger football team in the way that Burrow's playing. I think I'm going to take him over Georgia in this one. Manny?
And this is in the Mercedes building where the Falcons play, right? And Georgia's colors are very similar to the Falcons, so there's going to be a really good football team in that house for a change, right?
Oh. He's right, though. He's right.
But having said that, LSU, I think that's the place to be. Their offense, I think, is a little more productive. But Georgia's defense is a little better, just in statistically speaking. But I think LSU is on a mission. I'm going to go ahead and go Tigers.
Lara?
Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh. Nobody expected that.
I was not expecting that.
Zing!
Basically a home game.
A speeding bullet just went by.
That's a decent road trip from Athens, though. I mean, I agree. There's going to be, but there, the LSU fans are going to travel, though.
Yeah,
it's going to be half and half.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah,
should be a good game.
Brandon going LSU. Tim?
I look at it from the standpoint that Georgia has everything to gain,
Yeah.
and LSU has nothing to lose. I think they're going to be a top 3 team no matter what happens in this game. So, I think I'm going to go with Georgia.
Okay.
Yay! Someone out on the limb with me.
Usually when you do
That's a
that,
good
you seem
place
to do well. Yeah.
If you're out there, I'm happy to be out there with you.
All right, now we're getting to the more obscure here, the MAC championship, with Miami of Ohio taking on Central Michigan. This is in Detroit. Central Michigan, really strong offense. They've played well this season. Miami is kind of a weird one. They've won 4 straight, but their point differential is a negative this year. They've been outscored by, I think, an average of about 4 or 5 points this season. But, hey, they're in the MAC title game, and, somebody's going to have a chance to say we're the MAC champion. And since I put it on here, I'll go first. Brandon did pick Central Michigan, and I think Central Michigan's the better team. I think the MAC West has been the better side of that conference this year, between Central and Western Michigan, and there's somebody else. By the way, something kind of funny, or I shouldn't necessarily funny, but every Division I or FBS school in Michigan is going to a bowl game this year. So that would be Michigan, Michigan State, Central, Eastern, and Western Michigan are all headed to bowl games this year. So I'm gonna go with Central Michigan. Manny?
The Red Hawks and the Chippewas.
Yeah.
I couldn't find very much information.
You know, the funny thing is, I know more about Central and Eastern and Western Michigan. Mark Rudy, who used to cover sports here at Alamogordo, I had known nothing about these teams, and because he's a Western Michigan alum, I hear about it constantly, and so I know more about these teams than I ever would have imagined in my life. So,
Well, I'm going Chippewas.
all right. By the way, Mark hates Central Michigan with a passion. Like, you think Alabama and LSU fans, or Alabama and Auburn fans hate each other. Western and Central fans, there is a strong dislike there. If anybody didn't know that, I thought I'd throw that out there for you.
Does anybody know anything about these teams?
I know that.
I know a lot more.
Yeah.
Thanks to you, Charles.
Yeah. I try. I you know, when I put these games on here, I try to give a little bit of information. Lara?
Well, I guess Central Michigan is some kind of like Cinderella story. Am I getting that right? I don't know. Maybe have they ever won a championship?
A MAC championship? I'd have to go look. I'm sure they have. There's been some good coaches that have come out of Central Michigan.
Didn't Fleck come from there?
No, he was at Western.
Western.
Yeah, somebody else has been at Central. I'd have to go back and look. But Jim McElwain, who used to coach at Florida, is the coach at Central Michigan
Nice.
right now. So, Lara? And Miami of Ohio they've called it the cradle of coaches. There have been a lot of great coaches that have come out of like Bo Schembechler, and I have to go back and look, but there's been a bunch of big names that have come out of Miami of Ohio.
Well, I had a couple people advise me for Miami, so I'll go Miami.
Oh, okay. Brandon is going with Central. Tim?
Yeah, so I know there's a Miami in New Mexico. Do you know that? I don't know if they call it Miami, like
It's on the east part of the state, right?
Yeah, it's totally talk about obscure.
Yeah.
That was a word you used earlier. Then there's the big city of Miami in Florida, and then there's Miami of Ohio. I've been to neither or any of the above. I've been to none of these Miamis. I need to knock all of them off my list. So yeah, this is just a Miami. I'm bloviating, making up stuff as I go along. I'm gonna go Miami.
There you go. I want to say Ara Parsegian was coached at Miami of Ohio.
Okay, I think you're right about that.
I think that's the...
Yep, we were all man. It was on the tip of my tongue.
No, I remember that, but I just remember that he's one of the guys that did, and of course, you know, he did very well at Notre Dame.
One final thought: if Jim McElwain's coaching Central Michigan, they're doomed. He's not riding a shark up there. I know that.
So you went Miami of Ohio?
I did.
Okay, Jake, who are you going with?
In the words of my good buddy Tim Brock, who cares?
Touche.
Hey, these two teams care. They care.
They do care, and as they should. I'll take Central Michigan, but I have nothing really to add to this.
But the region of this radio broadcast reach
Yeah.
doesn't care.
Probably
Does
not.
not care.
Probably not. If Mark Rudy was still working at the Alamogordo Daily News, he might care because he wants Central Michigan to lose in the worst possible fashion. All right, we will take a break and come back. More of the KNMZ Football Roundtable coming up next.
Here at Christ Community, we are all about Jesus, we're all about people, and all about community. We are more than a building, more than a gathering. We are more than a religion. We are a place to belong, a place to be changed, and a place to experience relationship with God and others. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, and no matter what you've done, Jesus loves you, we love you, and you belong here at Christ Community.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
Fall is here and winter is creeping up on us fast. This is Brandon with Desert Sun Toyota, and the prices are falling on all new 2019s in stock. I invite you down to Desert Sun Toyota today. Take advantage of some of the biggest savings of the year, like the new 2019 Camrys with $2,500 cash back, or the new 2019 4Runners with $1,250 cash back, or payments as low as $349 a month. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, come see why Toyota is ranked #1 in retail sales in the U.S. Desert Sun Toyota's Used Car Supercenter is expanding with our new value-priced vehicle lineup, like a 2010 Buick Enclave SUV priced at only $7,400. If you're in the market for a truck, SUV, or car, Desert Sun Toyota has what you're looking for. Our staff is here with experience, knowledge, and the best customer service to make your vehicle purchase the best. Come see why Desert Sun is voted #1 auto dealer in Otero County year after year. Visit us at DesertSunToyota.com or 3333 North White Sands Boulevard.
Hi, my name is Jake Roberts, and I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker Southern Nelson. Are you looking for your dream home, or are you looking to sell your property and need the guidance to get noticed? I can help you with professional real estate services today. Call me at 575-446-8574 or email me at jake@nmvistas.com. To view a list of our inventory, visit our website at alamogordo-coldwellbanker.com or visit us at 800 Scenic Drive in Alamogordo.
If you and your family are looking for a new home, you don't have to look far for a home mortgage. As a community bank, we not only have great rates, we offer you friendly financial service right here in the neighborhood. There are a lot of options in real estate lending. We're here to see that you get a loan you can live with. Talk to us about your home mortgage. We're an equal housing lender. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
Welcome back to the KNMZ Football Roundtable. You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. We are recording today's show, so if you're wondering, I don't know how you'd know at this moment, but we're recording on Wednesday, and of course we're airing this on Friday. You may know because you may have just listened to a basketball game with me up in Santa Fe, and it would be real confusing for you guys. All right, let's move on to the Conference USA Championship. This is kind of similar to the MAC championship. That's why I took a commercial break between the two. Maybe it'll separate it. But you got a couple of 9-3 teams. UAB's a great story. Their football program was shut down in 2014, so they didn't play football in 2015 and 16. They brought it back, and they've been one of the better teams in Conference USA since they've come back. Their defense is really good. They're giving up about 18 points a game. Florida Atlantic, you've got Lane Kiffin there, so there's at least a little bit of familiarity. 7.5 points going to the Owls. Chris Robinson, their quarterback, 22 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And Florida Atlantic doesn't really have a bad loss. Marshall's not great, but they lost to Ohio State and Central Florida earlier this year, so they've played a pretty good schedule outside of that, and they've done well in the conference this year. But Manny, you like the Dragons or the Owls?
I thought UAB was the Blazers.
Blazers, I'm sorry. My mascot is a dragon. So
Anyway,
right.
Here's what I know about these two teams. They're both 9-3, and Florida Atlantic, the Owls are a 7.5 point favorite, so that's the basis of my decision. I'm going to Owls.
By the way, Brandon also going Florida Atlantic. Larry?
Florida Atlantic.
Tim?
Yeah, this one's boring. I think UAB, the Blazers, who I am really proud of Manny for just, you knew that with such boldness. And anytime we correct Charles, I feel like we win.
Yeah.
Just a word to the panel. Anybody who is too highly critical of the choices that the host selects becomes eligible to take over picking the games and preparing the list, preparing the charts, doing all of that.
Nice.
And so that's why I'm never too critical.
Too critical.
To be fair, I think there's only like 10 college games this week anyway. So.
These were the best games I could pick.
I think there's only like 2 games that aren't on the sheet.
Yeah, I think it was this one. I didn't put the Mountain West Championship on there as
Tim,
well.
what you're beginning to feel is the end of the season withdrawal.
Yeah.
It starts to get a little lonely, right?
The long off season awaits.
Yeah, because next week it'll be Army-Navy and then 15 NFL games.
Yay! Good, because at least we probably have seen the Jaguars on TV once or twice this year.
This is true.
Yeah, so the answer is Florida Atlantic. I don't know if I already said that or not. I don't even know which team am I even picking? Like, what's happening right now?
It's your turn.
Yeah, okay.
Tim blacked out. He's not really sure what's going on
I'm lost.
at the moment.
And
Does he ever really know what's going on? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's take Florida Atlantic. Let's take Kiffin.
Yeah, I'm going to go Florida Atlantic, but UAB would be a great story to win the CUSA championship. I think that's cool that program, there was enough groundswell support there in Birmingham to bring that program back, and they've been pretty successful, because that's really hard. I mean, you have to let go of all your recruits, and you're basically starting over, and that they've managed to do that, I think, is pretty cool. All right, this is literally a rematch of last week. Cincinnati and Memphis playing again, a game that Memphis won 34-24. Interestingly, the spread is not 10, it's 9, at least last that I checked for Memphis. So I mean, it's basically what the score was last week. But the question is, can Memphis turn around and beat the same team 2 weeks in a row. That's something you don't see in football very often, and the ability to be able to do that. Because Cincinnati's a good team; they're ranked. I mean, this is not a bad football team that they're playing this week. Brady White's had a great year for Memphis, though. 32 touchdowns, just 8 interceptions. Their quarterback's had a great year, and we've had Memphis on the pick sheet a few times, and I can say I've probably picked against them, and they have burned me every single time that it's happened.
Same.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But Brandon going with the Tigers. Tim, who do you like?
Well, what I would like, I don't know if you've heard this, but there's a proposal of the top 8. If there was a bracket right now, get rid of these stupid championship games so we don't have to deal with this. It would be Memphis versus Ohio State, which we'd all take Ohio State, Baylor versus LSU, Oklahoma versus Clemson, and Utah versus Georgia. That would be a lot more exciting to me, but nobody's asking me my opinion except for I just asked myself and I gave it over a radio program.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm from Alamogordo, so I'm going to go with the Tigers.
Okay, sounds good. A little bit different colored Tigers, but that's okay. Jake.
I'm glad he has a reason. I'm taking the Tigers.
I think Memphis has proven that they're the best team in the American this year. They've beaten pretty much everybody. And, again, a program, Memphis football is not something that is a big-time program that we really knew of. And in recent years, a conference has been dominated by Central Florida. Memphis is starting to take over a little bit. So I'm going to go Tigers. Manny?
So that loss that Bearcats had, where was that played?
I think that one was in Cincinnati.
And so this is back.
Memphis?
This is
Okay.
back. Memphis is home now.
Yeah. Well, let me check real quick because I could be wrong on that. So, but I wanted to say no. It was in Memphis. Tim's right.
And so the Cincinnati Bearcats have got to get back on the bus and go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they wash the uniforms?
I'm sure it's a plane, but yeah, they have to go back.
New uniforms for this game.
Man, oh man.
Different color scheme.
Tigers are favored by 9. And the Bearcats, they put up 29 points per game. Memphis puts up 42. Defenses are similar. Bearcats allow 21. Memphis allows 24. I'm just going to have to go Tigers.
I know this isn't NFL, but somebody, and I don't know if it's still true after last week, but since the Black Cat got on the field in that Giants game a few weeks ago, no team with a cat in their name had won a football game. Yeah, but the Bengals won this week, so they obviously that's done. But but before this week's games, yeah, I literally am saying that because we got. I guess these are both cats, or I don't know if Bearcat's technically a cat. It's got cat in it, but
Yeah.
Lara, who do you like?
It's got cat. All right.
Yeah,
Tigers.
I'm just providing important information.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Yeah. Bearcats.
All right, Sun Belt Championship. You got Louisiana taking on Appalachian State, and Appalachian State. I think at least a program people are more aware of it. That's going to be forever after the win over Michigan 12 years ago. And it's impressive to see the trajectory of that program. They were an FCS team at that point. They went to the big division FBS, and they've become, they're an 11-1 team this year. They did play earlier this season, did Louisiana and App State, 17-7. App State got the win, and both teams are going to want to run the football. Darrington Evans, 16 touchdowns, 1,250 yards for Appalachian State this year. For Louisiana, Elijah Mitchell's rushed over for over 1,000 yards, and he's got 14 touchdowns. So those are two guys that are in the top 15 in rushing touchdowns this season in the country. So a lot of running the football, and it was a low-scoring game the first time around. So the question is, what will be the second time around? And we'll start with you, Jake. Who do you like, App State or Louisiana?
So when they played earlier, it was 17-7, and Louisiana lost. But since then, they've scored over 30 points in every single one of their games. So I think it kicked off something with that. I think they're going to come in with a vengeance. I'm going to take the Raging Cajuns.
Okay. I'm going to go Appalachian State.
I need to point that it's against the spread for Tim.
I know. I'm shocked, dazed, and confused that Jake just took an underdog on the program.
Did I not do it last week?
He did, I think.
3 times.
Yeah.
And you won them all?
I think so.
You did really good. So whatever you're doing, Jake, stick to it.
Yeah, right. We're not messing with the formula too much.
It's no judgment. It's complete jealousy. So
there you go. What is App State favored by?
6.5.
6.5. Okay. I'm going to go Appalachian State. They're at home. I think playing there in Boone, North Carolina, I think they'll get the win. And I believe it'll be a close game. By the way, Brandon is also going Appalachian State. Manny.
So this is the Raging Cajuns and the Mountaineers. Mm-hmm. Davy Crockett and Daniel Boone, they'd be proud about this.
Yeah.
I think. Hey, and so both teams, they have scored an average of 39 points per game. The Raging Cajuns have allowed 18 points per game, and the Mountaineers have allowed 19 points per game. This is a statistical perfect match.
Yeah.
It really is. But The Mountaineers are favored by 6, so that's where I'm going.
Lara.
App State.
And let's see, Brandon, App State, and Tim.
I'm going to go with the Raging Cajuns. Because
Okay.
Jake did, and he's in first. So.
Not for long.
There you go, right?
He hasn't been for long, but he may be there to stay.
No, I was earlier. Thank you very
I don't
much.
think we'll
Fighting
see.
for this last 2 games though for it's been 8 weeks. It's
Yeah.
been aggravating. I have had 0 movement.
Yeah, the one where everybody went 14-2, I knew Jake was just like, I can't believe it. I had such a good week.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
All right, so let's move on to our NFL picks for this week. On paper, one of the best games of the week. I'm not especially confident going into it, but we'll see. The Bills are hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are getting 5.5, which I think is probably a fair line just because of how exceedingly well Baltimore has been playing over the last few weeks. What a great game that was between the Ravens and the 49ers on Sunday. That was top-notch, maybe a Super Bowl preview. Very, very fun to at least get the cut-ins on Red Zone. I didn't get to watch the whole game, but it was fun to see. The Bills, I mean, what a great win over the Dallas Cowboys, right, Tim?
Oh, yeah, they look good.
Yeah. I didn't get to do that last week. But, this may be a little bit too much for the Bills, and I have picked the Bills all season. This is just respect to Baltimore, though. I think that they are far and away the best team, and I kind of got to see somebody shut down what they're doing right now because they are on a tear. I take that back. The 49ers found a way. They slowed down Lamar Jackson in that Baltimore offense last week. I don't think the Bills' defense is as good as San Francisco's, so I'm going to go with the Ravens on the road, but obviously rooting for the Bills. We'll see what happens, but I think Baltimore's the better team. Manny?
Yeah, I think Baltimore's on their way.
Yeah.
On their way. And so I'm going to stay with the Ravens. And if you say Ravens real fast, it kind of sounds like Raiders.
Yeah. Lara?
Baltimore.
All right, she's going with the Ravens. And Tim?
I will say that Buffalo has a really good pass defense, but Baltimore's really good at running the ball. So I don't think that's a good matchup for Buffalo, so I'm going to go with Baltimore.
Jake?
I still think Baltimore's probably the best team in the NFL right now.
Huh?
I'm going to take Baltimore.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say.
It's a watch Buffalo beat them.
They could.
And Buffalo always pulls off a weird win every once in a while too. That and it's weird to
NFL.
say that because they've actually played really, really well. But sometimes Buffalo just shocks you anyway. It's like Miami winning a couple of weeks ago to somebody I didn't expect.
Last week when they beat the
Philadelphia.
Eagles.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's
it was last week when they
that
beat
did just happen.
Philly. That was definitely.
But Baltimore does have a lot to play for. I think that's a big thing to point out, that they now have an opportunity to seal home field advantage, stay out of Foxborough. That's muy importante.
I would say that the Bills have the exact same opportunity. Though. If the Bills were to win out, they would be the number 1 seed in the AFC, which is just ridiculous to me. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think this is also the first really good team they played. I know they played New England earlier this year, but New England's, I don't know what to make of the Patriots in all fairness, so I'm not sure. But hope the Bills win, but I don't think it's going to happen. Cincinnati taking on Cleveland. Congrats to the Bengals and getting their first win of the year last week. That's got to feel good for their new head coach. Cleveland, meanwhile, they had the opportunity to get back to 6-6. They'd be right in the middle of the wild card hunt, and they went to Pittsburgh and kind of laid an egg. They did not play especially well, but they can get back on track and maybe still keep themselves in the playoff hunt at least a little bit. We'll see what happens. Jake, how you feeling about the Browns right now?
Your Browns.
All right, I'm good with that. Jeez, I don't know. You've got Freddie Kitchens wearing a Pittsburgh started it shirt last week.
Man.
Like that was just kind of like, I don't know.
It's good leadership.
I think this whole team is being run by freaking children. It's crazy. I think with the talent that they have, they should not be losing these games. They've got, I think Nick Chubb is the leading rusher.
Probably. I would anticipate.
He's
he is.
up there, top 3 if nothing else. Like the wide receiving core, is probably one of the best in the league. They should be winning a lot more games. I hate to say this, but I think it's kind of on Baker. I think it's a little bit on
partially
Baker
on Baker.
this one.
I think it's also on Freddie Kitchens, though. I really think that he looks like the inexperienced guy in this whole mess.
100%. And so you've got the blind leading the blind. I still think they're better than Cincinnati. I'll regret this, but I'm going to take Cleveland.
I'll tell you what I think would be a good fit is fire him and bring in Ron Rivera. I think that would be a nice fit in Cleveland. I think that he's got the right kind of personality to fit with that team, and he's also a good
honestly
coach.
With Baker too, because you know he'll let Baker have the ball in those high tense situations, which Baker could excel at. We just don't know. I don't know.
Riverboat Ron, man. Let's get him going. There's no way that Cleveland should lose this game. I will say Cincinnati is a far better team with Andy Dalton in at quarterback. I know that they were trying something there in Cincinnati, but Dalton has, I think, proven himself to be a very good NFL quarterback. By the way, he's the all-time leading touchdown passer in Bengals history last week. He, as Manny would call him, the Red Gun, passed Ken Anderson last week, so good for him. But Cleveland at home, they should win this game. I'm going to go Browns. Manny?
Yeah, they're favored by 8.5. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going Cleveland.
There.
Cleveland.
I'll find a way to screw it up.
Brandon is going with the Browns as well. Tim?
I really have no confidence in this game, and I really do want to go out there with the Bengals because they've lost a lot of close games. You mentioned they got Andy Dalton back. They still don't have A.J. Green back. He's been kind of toying with the idea of coming back, but at 1-11, I'm sure he's just going to shut it down.
Yeah.
You know what? I would definitely take the points if this was how we did these things, but straight up, 17-14 Cleveland.
I think that's fair. I think it's going to be a real close game. All righty. We will go ahead and take a break and come back. More of the KNMZ Football Roundtable coming up next.
When someone thinks they have a better idea, like a new way to make it or a new place to take it, they start their own business. Every small business has not-so-small ambitions. We can help you with about every financial service you'll need, like e-statements to save your filing space, mobile banking from your smartphone, lines of credit for expansion, and online account access. To us, there's nothing small about small business. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, we are proud of the great high schools in Alamogordo, Cloudcroft, Mescalero, and Tularosa. Our student athletes set a valuable example for everyone to follow. They work hard to succeed in the classroom and in competitive sports and contribute enormous time and energy to bring pride to their schools and community. At Charles Garland and Harris Insurance, as we work hard to protect the families and businesses of Otero County, we proudly take pause to follow our student athletes and extend our best wishes for their success every day in the classroom and on game day.
Are you looking to rent or need someone to manage your property? Hi, I'm Jake Roberts with Coldwell Banker, Sudderth Nelson. Did you know that we are the largest property management company in Alamogordo? Whether you are looking for a short-term housing solution or to turn an existing property into a great long-term investment, give us a call at 575-437-1137. Visit our website today at alamogordocoldwellbanker.com or come by and see us at 800 Scenic Drive.
Fall is here and winter is creeping up on us fast. This is Brandon with Desert Sun Toyota, and the prices are falling on all new 2019s in stock. I invite you down to Desert Sun Toyota today. Take advantage of some of the biggest savings of the year, like the new 2019 Camrys with $2,500 cash back, or the new 2019 4Runners with $1,250 cash back, or payments as low as $349 a month. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, come see why Toyota is ranked #1 in retail sales in the U.S. Desert Sun Toyota's Used Car Supercenter is expanding with our new value price vehicle lineup, like a 2010 Buick Enclave SUV priced at only $7,400. If you're in the market for a truck, SUV, or car, Desert Sun Toyota has what you're looking for. Our staff is here with experience, knowledge, and the best customer service to make your vehicle purchase the best. Come see why Desert Sun is voted #1 auto dealer in Otero County year after year. Visit us at DesertSunToyota.com or 3333 North White Sands Boulevard.
There are no roadblocks scheduled today on either Highway 70 or 54 South. For the latest roadblock information, call 575-678-1178. Today's forecast is calling for mostly sunny, mostly cloudy tonight. Alamogordo, high of 60, low of 39. For Cloudcroft, high of 51 and an overnight low of 30. For tomorrow, we're looking at sunny skies. Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 64, low of 42. For Cloudcroft, tomorrow, high of 54 and an overnight low of 31.
Here at Christ Community, we are all about Jesus, we're all about people, and all about community. We are more than a building, more than a gathering. We are more than a religion. We are a place to belong, a place to be changed, and a place to experience relationship with God and others. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, and no matter what you've done, Jesus loves you, we love you, and you belong here at Christ Community.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back to the KNMZ Football Roundtable, our final segment. We're picking some more pro games. We'll mention again that we are recording this morning's show on Wednesday, so you're not hearing us live this morning. We'll be back live next Friday, though. All right, the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the New England Patriots. Patriots, I'm a little surprised they're getting 3 at home. The Chiefs have been a little up and down, but they looked better last week. And the Patriots, unfortunately, did not look, well, some people would say fortunately, but I'll say unfortunately for Lara. Did not look especially strong last week. But this is a tough one to pick. I don't know. This is the kind of game that it's like a trap. Everybody's like, "Oh, the Patriots look awful last week." We should pick the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And this is the game where Brady comes out and throws 5 touchdown passes,
right,
and they win by 40. I mean, it's just. Bill Belichick's just waiting. He's just trying to sucker us in to believe that maybe they're not that good this year, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Lara.
It's funny you say that because I was just thinking that during the break, and I was like, oh, great. But I'm going to have to pick New England.
There you go. Well, I mean,
the way she said it, I thought she was going to go with the.
No,
I have to go.
I can't. Yeah.
You know she's not going to pick against the Patriots. Brandon's going with the Patriots. Tim.
Yeah, well, I think picking the Patriots is probably the smart move. When was the last time, and I really don't know the answer to this, that the Patriots lost back-to-back games? Like, I don't know. It's been a while.
They've started off season strange. I mean, they probably didn't do it last year, but I would guess 2017 for sure.
Well, listen, 60% of America is picking New England. I don't blame them. They're tough to beat at home. But to me, this is Kansas City's healthy. They've got supposed to be the best quarterback in the NFL, the rising star. He's got Travis Kelce. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got stud running backs. I mean, if this isn't the time, I don't know what is. So I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Jake.
I still don't want to pick this game. Yeah, so Tom Brady was on the sideline, and he was really kind of chewing into his receivers, so I don't know what the miscommunication was. You have to assume that they'll be practicing really hard this week to get any of those communication issues taken care of. But man, they looked bad. Gosh, they looked terrible. And I'm having a hard time picking Kansas City. Like I said, they're a 10-2 team. Or I'm sorry, New England. They're a 10-2 team. It's Bill Belichick. It's Tom Brady. But I hate to say this, but I think Brady's showing his age.
They only lost by 6. As bad as we're killing them right now.
But it wasn't that close.
I know it wasn't that close, but they still only lost by 6. For as terrible as they were last week, they still only lost by 6.
Their record for how they played, I mean, they're still in every one of these games. But I'm with Tim to the degree that I can't think of the last time they lost back-to-back games. You got to think Belichick and Brady's going to work on that communication. I'm going to take New England.
Okay.
New England? I looked it up.
All right.
13 years ago, 2002.
See, I was a
Wait a
teenager.
minute. 2002 was the last time they lost back-to-back games.
I believe that.
Yep. This is 3 games in a row. So.
Okay. 3 games
then
in a row.
I don't believe that. That is a terrible stat.
No. 3 games in a row, I would actually believe. I mean, that makes sense to me. But back-to-back, I mean, they've lost back-to-back games in the last 5 or 6 years, I would think. I think Tim's right. If it's ever going to happen for the Chiefs and going on the road to New England, this should be it. Even though the Chiefs have been, I mean, some of the games they've lost this year have been head scratchers. KC played Houston better, and that's what I'll say maybe is the difference. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Manny.
Yeah, I don't care about this football game.
No.
I don't care. I hope they play to a tie.
Dude, I can't wait.
But I think Kansas City's got it going on, and I think New England. I think the news of their passing away is premature.
That's
way premature.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go Kansas City. What the heck? AFC West.
2015.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit longer than I thought it was. That's crazy that they haven't lost back-to-back in that many years. Ugh.
Yeah, it says week 16 lose to the Jets 26-20. Week 17 lose to the Dolphins 20-10.
Man, this the only thing. I mean, one of these years it's got to happen where they're not going to win the East. And why can't it be this year when the Bills are that close to winning the East? All right, Tennessee taking on Oakland. I was a little surprised this line. Tennessee getting 2.5 on the road over the Raiders. That I figured it would be closer to even. I mean, as well as Tennessee has played in some spots, they're still the Titans, and I find that very difficult to believe. And the Raiders have been good at home, right, Manny?
Well, not good enough. but this is their last homestand. They've got the Titans this week, Jacksonville next week, and then they go on the road. So they've got to win this game. This is a must-win for the Raiders, so I'm going to go Oakland.
Lara.
Oh, man.
She doesn't know.
I'm going to go with the Titans.
And Brandon is going with the Titans on the road. Tim.
I would like to say, though, going back to the Kansas City New England game real quick, because nobody cares about this Tennessee game.
Okay.
I was wondering why the NFL didn't flex that to the 6 o'clock, 6:20 local time start. But interestingly enough, they did flex the Bills-Steelers game in Week 15 to Sunday night. So we can watch the Bills on TV other than when they play the Cowboys. How about that?
I got to watch when they played the Broncos. I mean, that's about it.
That's a good year for you when they played both the Broncos and the Cowboys.
It's true. It's very true. They're not on national I mean, they've actually been 3 times I've been able to watch it. When they played the Eagles earlier this year. 4, because also when they played the Patriots. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a no-brainer. I think Oakland was kind of like a shooting star. I think they were fired up, well coached, but they just don't have the horses. They got a lot of young guys they're not used to playing this many football games. So I think Tennessee, their placing of Ryan Tannehill at the starting quarterback position and Derrick Henry, he's kind of a behind-the-scenes MVP candidate. He's amazing, and he's doing really good. So I'm going to go Tennessee on the road.
Jake.
Is Tennessee actually... Yeah, they do have playoff hopes, which is kind of shocking. To me, I thought they've actually been a little quiet this year, and I didn't realize that they were doing as well as they are.
They can still win that division. I mean,
they can still win that division, and I think they have everything to play for, and so do the Raiders. But the Raiders they just have not been clutch in those situations. So I'm taking Tennessee in this one.
Manny, I'm gonna put some faith in your Raiders at home. I'm gonna go Oakland at home. It makes me feel a little sick to my stomach. Like usually most years when I try to pick the Bills, it makes me a little sick to my stomach. So.
Vamos a ver. Let's go see. Let's go see.
All right, Indy taking on Tampa, and Tampa's a 2.5-point favorite at home. Tampa is the ultimate. You just don't know week to week what you're going to get with them. Or let's put it this way: from play to play, you don't know what you're going to get with Jameis Winston because the guy is. I mean, you can't say he's not entertaining. I mean, it's entertaining to watch what Jameis Winston is doing out there, but. Colts, they struggled a bit, and Jacoby Brissett did not look especially strong last week. I wasn't very impressed with him. This feels like a game that they should win, but I'm not sure what happens here. Brandon is going with his Colts, of course, and Tim is going with?
Well, my name is Tim Brock, TB. I go to Tampa every summer for vacation.
Okay.
I've got Jameis Winston on every fantasy team I have. Hence the roller coaster ride.
Yeah, but I mean, even with those interceptions, I bet he's giving you good numbers. I mean, I would think.
And you draft him in the last round of the. Yeah, it's fine. No, I'm going to go with Tampa, man. I think with Chris Godwin and they got so much firepower on offense. I think they can outscore the Colts.
I wonder what they do with Winston in the offseason because I think his contract's up. If they do,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what they do there. What does Jake do here?
I don't know what happens with that team at all. This is a game Indianapolis should win, but I think Tampa has big play potential. They're kind of like they're a go big or go home kind of team. Mm-hmm. So if they can keep going big against Indianapolis, I think they'll get the win.
Way back in the day, one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history was the Peyton Manning Colts down 21 in the fourth quarter against the Tony Dungy, Warren Sapp Bucks. I mean, I don't know if this is the first time they've played in Tampa since then. Probably not, but it will always make me think of that. It was on Monday Night Football. I mean, it was Al Michaels, John Madden. It was the best. I'm gonna go Colts on the road. To me, they should win this game if they're a good football team, and I think they are. They just ran into a Tennessee team that clearly is on a run right now. I just think Tampa's bad will overcome their good this week. Manny.
Charles, I agree with you. I'm going Colts.
Lara.
I'm going to try to pick one up on Jake and go Colts.
All right, even split. We like it. Boy, San Francisco, back-to-back road games, just brutal for the 49ers. They go out to Baltimore and play a close game.
Wasn't a split.
No, it wasn't a split. It was 4-2. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Thank you, Tim. I see that now. As I was looking up and I was like, wait a minute. That's
Is
not
my
right.
math right, or is 4 and 2 an even split?
No, it's not. Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna lie, I keep getting sucked into my phone. I apologize. Wednesdays are a busy day for me.
Yeah, there you go. San Francisco at New Orleans. New Orleans getting 2.5 in this game. This is, I mean, for back-to-back weeks, what a tough schedule for the 49ers, and an incredibly, I think, difficult one to choose. Do you like the home team, or do you think that San Francisco defense? Brandon is going with the Saints. Manny, who do you like?
I'm going to go New Orleans.
Lara.
Saints at home.
Tim.
You know what? I think San Francisco is a lot better than I've been thinking. I've picked against them a lot, and in some cases it's worked out, but most of the time it hasn't. I think the Saints, this is the time of the year. This is when they lost to the Cowboys at home last year, and I think this is the time for them to lose. I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Saints are kind of like the Chiefs. There's been, you could tell they're not the dominant team that they've been in some years. At least that's the way I've felt about them.
I agree.
Jake.
I like the Saints. I think the Saints might rest their players in another week or so, but I think if they win this, they lock it up, right?
Division.
Yeah, they'll have already won the division.
Yeah, but they want a first round bye.
Yeah.
Like every team is 10-2. They won't do that.
Yeah, I think Tim's probably right. They don't have the spot where they want to, because you got to look at the Packers are 9-3, and the Seahawks are 10-2, and yeah.
And just to clarify, the 49ers are 10-2, the Saints are 10-2, the Seattle Seahawks are 10-2. They ain't benching nobody.
We'll see. They're not doing it this game. I'm just saying maybe in a couple of weeks we'll see what happens going forward. But I think New Orleans is far and away the better team. I think Garoppolo's not bad. I really do. And I think San Francisco's okay, but I just think New Orleans is just too good.
I think the 49ers defense, this is going to be the problem for the Saints, is I just don't think the Saints defense is as good as the 49ers. And I think the 49ers offense is good enough to win this game. I've been picking against San Francisco, I feel like, a lot this year. I haven't felt like they're for real. I was more impressed in their loss last week at Baltimore than maybe I've been in some other games for them this season. So I'm going to go 49ers on the road. I think they're going to go into New Orleans and get the win. It's a tough place to win, but I think they're going to make it happen. All right, Seattle going to the LA Rams this week. Seattle's just getting a point, but that makes sense because I think almost every one of Seattle's wins this year has been by one possession. I was talking to a Seahawks fan the other day, and they, looked like they were going to win comfortably over Minnesota on Monday night, and then no, that didn't happen. It turned into another nail biter for them. But what a great season Russell Wilson is having. The Rams, it looked like maybe they got right a little bit last week, going over to Arizona and crushing them the way that they did, but it is the Cardinals, so do we really take a whole lot from that? I mean, they were dominant in that win over a Cardinals team that has been okay this year. They've been way better than I think anybody anticipated them to be, but question is, can Seattle go on the road and beat the Rams? Lara, who do you like?
Seattle.
Going with the Seahawks. Tim?
Yeah, I watched the Rams live on Sunday, and they looked very good in all facets of the game. This could be the time where they really turn it up. Somebody had said, I don't know if you guys heard this or even believe this, but that the coaching staff, Sean McVay, was trying to conceal his top-notch plays through the first half of the season, even into the latter part of the second half of the season, so he could reveal it in time for the playoffs, because he felt like they were exposed in the playoffs last year. They ain't going to make the playoffs, so that was a bad move.
Exactly.
I think Seattle's they've got it going on. I'm going to go with them on the road.
Brandon also likes the Seahawks. Jake?
I have too many questions about Todd Gurley. I think if they run the ball consistently, they really stand a good chance. But they haven't been running Gurley very much. He had that injury last year. I don't know if he's really 100% back or not. I'm taking Seattle in this game.
Might be a good game to jump out on, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I just too impressed with Seattle. They'll find a way to win this game. It'll probably be close, but Seattle will win it. Man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Seattle Seahawks, but they're rolling downhill right now, and they've had some impressive road games. I'm going to go Seahawks.
Is it that AFC West pedigree? Is that
yes.
So? Yeah. Yes. Back in the day. All right. And then just throw in a little wild card game here, because I think this is a difficult one to pick. The LA Chargers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Boy, the Chargers... As somebody says that Phillip Rivers is proverbially down by 4 with under 2 minutes to go in every single game, and it was last week. I didn't agree with that pass interference call, but I'm sure a lot of Broncos fans agree with that pass interference call from last week.
No, what I've heard them say is, well, we had it coming. We got messed up with the Bears game, and that's what Bronco fans I've heard say. But
so they knew it was a bad call, but they'll take it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The Jags are going back to Minshew Mania this week. It's the Chargers getting 3 on the road. Jacksonville feels like they're going to be making some changes in the offseason, so I don't know. Tim, who do you like? By the way, Brandon's going Jacksonville.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right.
There's a reason. There's a reason he's in last.
Can't even defend himself here.
Glad I didn't have to say that.
We love you, Brandon.
I'm here for the entertainment.
I can hold the humble card for a little bit longer.
Hey, you're in first for a reason.
You didn't see him. You didn't see him walk in here. He had music playing on his phone, saying he was the champ, playing the John Jones theme as he walked in today. Yeah, the champ is
That one
here.
right there?
Yeah.
Not that one. My new ringtone.
There you go.
Oh my god.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna, I think the Chargers have just been super unlucky. What we don't realize with Jacksonville is their defense since they've traded Jalen Ramsey has been I think the worst in the NFL. So I think if you can pick up our boy, the quarterback, what's his name? Philip Rivers. Pick him up. He's gonna throw for like 5 touchdowns this week, and the Chargers are gonna win in a blowout.
Okay, Jake.
You're very confident in that blowout, considering you didn't know who the quarterback was.
I know. I don't know why my mind just
You were,
stopped
super
working.
confident about all that.
I know. I'd really botched that landing.
Man, Phillip Rivers is just kind of like, he's been so up and down this year. I'm going to take the Chargers, but I'm not actually that confident in this pick.
I like Chargers. Manny?
I'm going Chargers.
Okay. Lara?
Holy cow.
Go Minshew.
Jacksonville.
Do it.
All right.
Do it.
Jacksonville.
This has backfired on us every time we've done that. All right.
Today.
That's going to do it for the show. We will talk to you guys next Friday right here on ESPN Alamogordo.
You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7, Southern New Mexico.